Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Admiral Pegasus and this is the Pegasus Show. And on today's show, we are going to be talking about Enterprise Part 3's epic officer, Phlox. Yes, I've unlocked him. And this is how I did it. I completed the SLB and the SMS. So, yeah, that means I was able to unlock him. And it means I actually get a video to record. But anyway, before we get into the nitty gritty with Phlox, if you'd like to know when I go live or drop a new video, please subscribe to the channel. So, our Denobulan Dr. Phlox is the Chief Medical Officer of the Starship Enterprise, the first Starfleet vessel. Now, not Federation. Let me make this point quite clear, as most of you already know. NX-01 Enterprise was not a Federation starship. It was a human starship from the human organization Starfleet. Obviously, this was it was launched about 10 years before the signing of the Federation Charter, which then created the United Federation of Planets. However, the Enterprise was not the first starship to house alien crew members, because obviously, as mentioned by T'Pol before, various Vulcan officers had tried to serve aboard starships before, but unfortunately, they couldn't handle the smell or the erratic emotions of the crew members. So, hats off to T'Pol for actually surviving, but Denobulan, yeah, they're an interesting species to say the least. I mean, 3 wives to each husband, 3 husbands to each wife. Males are more socially awkward than the females, so just to point out a couple of little bits there, and obviously their mating practices are something quite unique really, but it was nice to see a different variety of species come in with a different set of moralities and, yeah, a few other things. But anyway, we're not going to keep prattling on about Phlox. I mean, I could go on for ages about him, as you probably know. But what we're going to talk about is how he is in the game and the fact that, well, his abilities are at law. They're nothing to do with Enterprise whatsoever. Now, for those of you who remember the patch notes, this was the abilities that you had. Obviously, he has an officer ability, which is basically reducing critical chance by X%, and a below deck ability of technical... well, let's just say TDs, boosting, by X%. So it's going to give you more. However, yeah, a bug happened. In fact, we've had 2 bugs which have worked in the benefit of players this month. The first one is for his below deck ability. Well, it means now any single loot officer can actually acquire more TDs than the baseline. Now, for those of you who was in the live stream that I did recently, I showed that ability off. And Scopely, in their infinite wisdom, said, yes, we'll keep it. That's a good one. And now we've had a second bug related to Phlox's officer's ability. Because now apparently, and we will be showing this off today, he works against hostiles. Now, you remember the description, it said players. He was an anti-honor guard Worf. Honor guard Worf, as we know, is his officer ability, increased critical chance by 45% as level 1. Now, mine's tier 3 or tier 4, so mine's at 60 plus percent, so which means I'm pretty much hitting criticals most of the time, not every time, in PvP. That's if the fights actually go long enough, but again, it was to last 8 rounds. Worf's ability, most fights nowadays don't actually go past 2 rounds. Because of this, they Scopely completely broke the PvP meta. But Phlox's officer's ability was anti-crit chance, reducing it by 45% for 8 rounds. against players. Now, you can see here by the description on the screen, it still says players. Reducing opponent's critical chance by 45%, topping out at tier 5 as 100%. Brilliant for 8 rounds. Fights are pretty much not going to go that long. But this is a chance to sort of level the playing field a little bit. So a crew formation I could pretty much see in a PvP will be Carl Freeman, Honor Guard Worf, and Phlox. Now, I'm not going to put it in a PvP fight because pretty much anybody I go up against in PvP, if they are running Honor Guard Worf, they're most likely going to be running a tier 4, if not a tier 5 Honor Guard Worf, because most of the players that come knocking at my door are like level 55 and above. So, and they're spenders, so you guarantee they are going to actually have the advantage over me. So this 45% chance for me, yes, fine, it's going to reduce their critical chance, but it's not really going to benefit me in a PvP fight to the tune of actually, you know, giving me a cat and mouse chance of winning. I'm still going to get creamed. That's it. But because of the most recent bug where it's going to be effective against hostiles, well, that now opens up a little bit more. Because if you remember, this month we've also had the Silent Hostiles drop where they have a critical chance of 100% for the first 4 rounds. Tell you what, taking that 45% off will definitely reduce that critical damage that I take. But again, we can see that a bit later. Next up, obviously, like we said, we had the bug where the other loot officers like Enterprise E Picard, 5 of 11, the Doctor are now all working against those technological distinctiveness. So, Scopely decided in the infinite wisdom, yes, we're going to keep that. Brilliant, no complaints. We're going to have to change Phlox because his abilities, well, they were very lackluster for an epic officer when you compare it to the likes of Picard and 5 and Data, the Doctor. So, yeah, it was very lackluster. So they changed it to the cutting beams charging rate. As you can see here at tier 1, it's going to increase by 20%. Again, we are going to show this off here in the stream, in the video, sorry. And obviously 100% at rank 5. So basically, if I'm reading this right, if I get a charge of 50%, it's going to add 20%. So that's an extra, what? 20% of 50 is, yeah, I can't remember, 10. It is an extra 10 on top. So that's the way it should work. But we can actually look at that a little bit later on. Now, obviously, the Dr. Phlox also has a number of traits. He's got Doctor, Charismatic, and Charming. If you want to use those traits, he'll be good for your away teams in certain aspects, especially with those charismatic ones. So obviously, we've got a limited number of charismatic officers, and as well, Charming. Charming, if I remember correctly, we've got, oh, bloody hell, Riker, I think's got one. No, he's charismatic. Yeah, I can't remember. Obviously, you can delve in and have a look. So they are worth going after, but again, is he going to be an officer that you're going to put on away teams? Well, if you're doing Silent Hostiles every day, no. If you save up those warp coils for it, also warp cells, then yes, you could potentially put him on some away teams every now and again. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into Silent Hostile space, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a baseline comparison using the standard crew that I've been using lately, which is very good against the 46s. It's absolutely rat gut against the 49s. So we're going to go out there, use this crew first, and then I'm going to exchange data for, actually no, hang on. Yes, I want data because I need the mitigation. So the isolated damage can come off. I've still got it from Janeway. So we're going to take data off and replace him with Phlox, just to see Phlox's ability in operation. Okay, so here we are in Orthonis Prime. And what we're going to do is going to find a 46 to go after. I just spotted one up the top there, so we've got another one closer by. Here we go. So we've got an Explorer 46. So we're going to go hit this. Now, just as a reminder about the ship abilities on these things. Obviously, they're going to apply burning. In this case, that does not really matter. It's this particular one. Ruthless Pursuit increases critical chance by 100% for the first 4 rounds. So what we're going to do is we're going to kick this one's butt. Then I'm going to bring up the battle log just to show you those critical damages actually working. As you can see, I've not taken a lot of damage. But again, it is a 46 and I expect these to win pretty handily. So there we go. We went 7 rounds. And as you can see, straight out the gate, it's going critical on its first weapon, critical on its second, critical on its third, critical on its fourth. And it's just running criticals because it's got that 100% critical chance. So, how well am I going to do against the 49? Well, I'll tell you what, let's go take on this Explorer 49 right here. If I survive, I will be shocked. Because usually, without a Cerritos and a Titan buff, I usually do not survive against these 49s very well. If I do, I take a hell of a lot of damage. So, yeah, as you can see, taken way more damage. So, what I'll do is we'll just hit one more just to send us home. And then what I'm going to do is, let's just show you the battle log for that 49 more particularly. So as you can see, this went 13 rounds. So it's got an extra, 6 rounds. But again, it's hitting critical shots already out the gate. So what I'm going to do now is replace data with Phlox. And then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to hit another 46 and another 49. Apparently, more than one notification about the fact that I got beat wasn't enough. So I'm going to send Discovery out there ready. So here we go for the next one. Okay, so we're back in Prime now and we're going to hit another 46. Oh, perfect. We've got an Explorer here. So now I'm running Phlox aboard the Newton right now. And took around about the same amount of damage as... that was wrong. We took around about the same amount of damage. So let's just have a look at the battle log. So we've gone an extra 2 rounds. Okay, fair dues. But look at that. That first shot was reduced straight away because there he is, just above Tom Paris. Phlox has activated, reducing that critical chance. So basically means that now that first shot was not a critical shot. Next 2 obviously were. But here we go. So now we're in a no, yes, no critical. What we got for the third weapon? So we've got crit, crit, no crit. And the next weapon, crit, crit, no crit. So there we can clearly see Phlox working to reduce that critical damage. And obviously this is going to continue for the next 4 rounds. So what was that one? That was okay, so that was a full run of crits. So just to show you, it's not perfect, but it's still going to be beneficial. It's another set of 3. And there we go. So we've got 1 crit, 2 not crit. And this is only the second round. So the third round, again, 1 shot's been reduced. Again, 1 shot reduced. 2 shots reduced. 2 shots reduced. And then round 4, again, 2 shots reduced. 1 shot reduced. 1 shot reduced. And this was a full critical. So that's the first 4 rounds. And then obviously, pretty much, yeah, it's not going to be hitting criticals anymore. Now, another thing I'll quickly point out as well is the silent enemy's natural critical chance is only 10%. Well, if you're reducing that by 40%, you're basically saying this from now on, this thing does not take critical shots. So it's literally got, the silent enemy's now got to just deal as much damage as it can in those opening 4 rounds in an effort to beat my ship. Now, you've seen the firing the attack pattern there. This is not guaranteed that it's going to work the same way for you guys, but you can clearly see what it's doing. Now, we're going to go after this Explorer 49 just as a comparison to tie in. I currently have Discovery out in Dominion space as well, so we can actually show you. Oh, that 49 disappeared. Let's go for that one there. So we can actually show you the charge rate. We can show you the loot crew working and Phlox, because obviously Phlox is going to be the most important one when it comes to the charge rate. Well, I still took a fair whack of damage there, but again, let's have a look at the battle log, just show you what happened. So we went on this one, we went 16 rounds, so again, another 3 rounds, so it works out about right. But again, are we reducing that critical? Yes, we are. 1 shot down. 1 shot down on that particular one. Bear in mind, these 49s do hit harder. Again, 1 shot down and 2 shots down. So that's the first round. We're not going to go through all 4 rounds. But again, even this 49 still only has that 10% critical. So from round 5 onwards, it's not firing a critical shot. However, when you get to round 8, that's the last round. So let's just jump to round 9 and actually see if we can actually start seeing some critical shots appearing. Where are we at the minute? Round 6. So as you can see here, still no critical shots from it. Here's round 8, the last one that Phlox works on. And again, no critical damage. So now we're into round 9. And this is now going to be the 10% of the hostile. Yeah, 10%. Obviously, there we go. There's a critical. There's a critical. But the 10% is really small, so it's not really worth that much in the grand scheme of things. So, yes, Phlox works brilliantly against these hostiles. And to be perfectly frank, it's no different than Data. So, is he actually worth putting on the bridge? Is he worth taking Data off for that extra isolated damage? It's entirely up to you, really. Now, we do have a mini source for Data, which is an unlock through the holodeck. You'll get one every so often, some shards, but it's only the unlock level. So if you got him above tier 1, yeah, okay. But Phlox, we've got no confirmed sourcing. So, ultimately, yes, Data's still going to be valuable and he's still probably going to be the better one, but Phlox is a very close second. And to be honest, he might actually make a little bit more benefit with some other crews. But because this is the second warp token I've used, obviously, I can't go again in this video. So the next thing we're going to do now is we are going to show the Borg off. No, let's just go kill 49 so we can actually crack on with this bit. Okay, so now as the Borg cube has actually entered Dominion space, what we're going to do is we're going to do this a couple of little ways. Excuse me. First, I'm going to show you the standard charge rate that I'm getting and the base rate of technological distinctiveness that I'm also going to receive. Now, we can see a number 51 battleship is a Jem'Hadar attack ship, of course, flying across the middle there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and target him. And what we're going to see is we're going to see the base, well, not the base rate. It's not going to be the base rate. And for those of you who've noticed that my t-shirt has changed, yes, I did originally record this segment. However, it turned out I made an egregious mistake. Yes, I made a massive mistake, and luckily I got it to it before rendering. Because it turned out Phlox is not going to give you a net 20% boost, and there is a reason why. So, as we can see, it's 44.9% charge off that 51 battleship, and the reason I say I made an egregious mistake is because I totally forgot something. And I'm sure some of you, if you'd have actually watched the original segment, would have pointed this out. Now, if you haven't figured out yet why I'm going this way, it's because there is a particular piece of research that already gives you a boost to your charge rate. This one right here. Yeah. Now, as well, as you can see, I've got an 18% bonus. Phlox gives me a 20%, so technically that should make a 38% efficiency saving. So efficiency, no, it doesn't. In all honesty, right, and to be perfectly frank, right, I'm not even going to try and splatter a load of BS here. I don't know the flat rate for that 51 battleship. I don't know the flat rate, because the one thing is I totally forgot about this research when I entered Dominion Space for the first time when I went tier 7. So I was already at level 4. So now there is a chart floating around, and if I've remembered, I'll put it in editing, which shows you the efficiency cost in various percentages, 10, 20, 20, 20, like that, things like that. You can see there, if they've put it there, and it shows you the final cost out of 100 each efficiency saving will give you. Now, I can't explain that one because it's, to me, if you get a 10% efficiency, you should be getting 10% off. But I don't do the math for Scopely. They do. So, as you can see, it's not quite so simple. So, when I show you Phlox in a little bit, you're going to see what I actually mean. And what I'll do is I will put the 49%, that 44.9% as a screenshot in the bottom corner so you can clearly see the difference that I'm going to get. So what I'm going to do first of all now is, because the live streams can be a little bit difficult to go through and actually find what you're originally looking for, I'm going to quickly just run through and show you the loot crew actually working for these hostiles now. So I'm going to show you the base TDs that I can actually get. And yes, this will be a base, because I know for a fact that this is a base, because we have a chart that tells us that this is going to be base. So here we go, firing it straight in, and then what I'll do is I'll just call up the cube's cargo bay. I'll just have to move down a little bit, and there we go. So there you go, 540 as the base amount of technological distinctiveness I receive. Now you saw the number of targets I also took on, ended up with 24,000 antimatter units. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change over to the loot crew. I'm going to come back, I'm going to blast a couple more targets, and then I'll show you what I'm getting using the loot crew. Okay, so as you can see, I've reached 100% charge for this particular one. This is the formation I'm using. Yes, before anyone screams it, why are you not using Hugh? I'm literally just showing Phlox off. Well, at the minute, I'm showing the loot crew. So, to be honest, there's no need for me to bring Hugh out in just a simple test. Obviously, if I wanted to test how long I could go before I'm destroyed, then yes, I would bring Hugh out in that particular one. So we're going to destroy this 49, and then what we're going to look at is the amount of TDs I have, 1593. So that's jumped from 540 to 1593. Okay, so that's a significant jump right there. What else can you say? Two different crews, but the loot crew is clearly working now. So we don't need what the original patch note said Phlox was going to be below deck, which was a X% towards an increase in the amount of TDs you're going to receive, topping out at tier 5 as 100%. 100%. But yet, I've got Picard at 60%. I've got 5 of 11 at 80%. I've got the Doctor Below Deck at 15%. Yeah, I'm already way over that 100%. So effectively, Phlox would become pretty much redundant in that aspect. So using the loot crew is actually far more efficient. I can come in here with a loot crew, 3 level 49s. Okay, let's get it right. 2 level 49s, and I'm done. That's my max. That's my 3 chest pull done every single day. But I go for 3 49s. Give me that little bit extra. That means I'll be carrying on. After this video, the cube is going away for about 6 months. I'm sending it on a long haul because, well, I have enough shape memory alloys to take it to tier 10. Yeah. That's just through active daily grinding. And I've got enough of these antimatter bloody storage pods to also last around about 6 months. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring the cube back home and I'm going to put Phlox on it. And then we'll see the recharge rate. Okay, so to make it even, obviously I needed to get a 51 battleship. As you can see, I have taken some damage because I've had to literally kill a few hostiles just to get that 51 to spawn because there was none here. So, at the bottom of the screen then, obviously at the far side, you're going to see the 44.9%, which is a screen snap of the original outtake that I actually did. I wanted to put it in just to show you that's going to be my base rate for this, which will include that charge optimization research. I think the original base rate is actually around about 38%, give or take, given how much should be added on right now. But obviously isn't. So we're going to go kill this battleship. And then what I originally found in the outtakes originally was a 52.4. So that's roughly around about right. Because if we actually added on, and if I believe I've still got it in my calculator, I think I might have. Yes, I have. As you can see by this calculation here, 44.9% plus the 20%. Should have actually given me a charge rate of 53.88. But because Scopely's efficiency math doesn't equal correctly, well, it equals in the way that it does. I'm not quite sure how it's all worked out and everything. It's just mind-boggling. Ultimate DJs understands it a hell of a lot better than I do. We're not going to be getting the full net 20% efficiency from Phlox. So, is he going to be really worth it? Well, yes. Okay, he's still giving you that boost. Even though I'm at 52.4, it's still a decent increase from 44.9%. It's what? It's 7.5% increase. Well, actually, it's around about a 14% increase in efficiency, but the figure has jumped up by 7.5. So it's still good, considering that when you take out one of these in my standard with no Phlox, that's around about 10.3%. That is it. That's now 11.7. I think, no, hang on. That was the battleship ones. So it's around about 11%, 11.5%. That's still a good increase. So, yes, eventually it's going to save me killing some of these. It might mean, literally, all I have to do is go kill, if I could just get it, yep, get rid of the calculator, just go kill this. Instead of killing 3 targets, I'm now killing 2 targets. Instead of killing 4, I'll be killing 3. So it's saving my hull in the long run. Don't look at it as the immediate benefit. Look at it from a standpoint of further away. Your longevity. Now, obviously, these are a piece of doddle anyway for me as it is. PMC, not a problem. Full loot crew, not a problem. As you can see by my cargo hold here, that's enough for my 3 chest pull, as I've already mentioned. But the one thing is, Phlox is now reducing the number of enemy targets I effectively have to kill in the long run. So instead of potentially, say, my standard run would be like 3 Jem'Hadar ships plus that level 49, right? That level 49, I'm not taking any damage off it anyway, but I'm going after the 50s and 51s. So I need about 3 on a push, maybe 4, which in that case I'd probably actually go for a 49 because that's literally what will be left. Now with Phlox, I don't need to. So basically, of the ships that can effectively do harm to me, I'm reducing the number of ships because of Phlox. So yes, he is beneficial. And like I said, I don't need to worry too much about these things because I can kill them quite easily. I always make sure my stats are at 900% below deck. So technically, I wouldn't be running Phlox anyway. I would probably use him as earlier in the video against those silent hostiles. If he's just as good as data at current, then it's worth it. But again, that's going to have to be something I'm going to have to run more tests on and multiple runs over the next few days. But yeah, so that's Phlox for you. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Does he seem like a decent officer to you, or do you think he's basically just going to be another meh officer? I think he's pretty good. He's not perfect. He's not brilliant. He's not like out of this world. But he's great. He is great. No questions about him. And I'll tell you one thing. His wife, Alicia, is it Alicia? She was quite hot for a Denoblian as well. Trip Tucker would have been a very lucky man. But anyway, I'll leave you to go find that episode and watch Tucker squirm as he tries to explain to Phlox that his wife is hitting on him. And Phlox just stands there with a big grin on his face and says, "Has she offered you a rose petal bath yet? Any man would be a fool to it decline." Or turn it down or something like that. It was amusing to watch Tucker hold such human morality above the Denoblian culture. About the way they just casually have 3 wives and 3 husbands each. So, but anyway, there it is. Not much else to say. Thank you for joining me. I'm Admiral Pegasus. Don't forget to smash that like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. Don't forget the join button for membership if you want to become a channel member. Also, PayPal, Cashapp links are in the description down below, along with the link to my Discord as well. So, until next time, I'm Admiral Pegasus. Thank you for joining me. Stay safe, live long and prosper, and I shall catch you on the next one. Goodbye.